Good morning, aloha. Okay, now as usual, I go to do some inviting and I can't invite and it's really annoying. I do wish they had that feature on business pages. So I'm just going to leave it a minute before I start. Sorry, I was just looking at the dogs. Before I start, if anyone from within the team jumps on, good morning, Candice. Please do share it into one of our chats. That would be fab. Not me again. I've just jumped off a team live. Thanks, Sarah. Good morning, Sue. So everybody that's just watched me in the team group, I apologise. I had only meant that live in the team group to be 5 minutes, but you just can't shut me up once I get started. So I'm going to be doing something new. Thank you, my lovely. I'm going to be doing something new because hi, Candice. I'm going to start saving these onto YouTube. You're going for a full morning of Naomi today. Lucky you. Nick is just like, I'm going out because he does not want a full morning of Naomi. So I asked in our team group some ideas on what they would like me to talk about, if there's anything that they struggle with, that sort of thing. And maybe I'll be able to help. I did make it clear that I'm not an authority. And one of the things that came up a couple of times was overthinking. And this is a massive, massive subject for me. It's something I've done a lot of work on. So I thought, do you know what? This is great. This is a really great subject to talk about. So I thought I would do that. So before we get started, I'm just going to get rid of that off the screen. My name is Naomi Bynoth. I love positivity, you may have noticed, and I'm using my Facebook page to talk about and share my words of wisdom. I am not trained in psychology or at all in any way. This is everything that I've learned as somebody who has suffered from anxiety and depression and spent a lot of time doing self-development. It's my own opinion. It is what I think about stuff, and that's all. And all I want to do is share my experience and my knowledge in the hope that it might help other people, and that's it. So if you're watching live, there will be a red live button up here. If not, you'll be watching on the replay. Drop me a hashtag replay, let me know that you've dropped by, and if you've got any questions about anything, you can either comment on here or pop me a DM. Okay, you get up in my DMs. Got a bit of Lizzo playing in the background. So, overthinking. It's a massive, hi Ashley, it's a massive topic, okay? So, over the years, I have tried battling with overthinking, and I would say it's been a battle. I have tried, doing affirmationing my way out of negative overthinking. I have tried drowning it out. I have tried distracting myself and all sorts of different things. And you know what? It's exhausting. Overthinking can be absolutely exhausting. And then I started reading slightly different things where it's still about positivity, it's still about managing your mindset, but it's hi there Helen, it's doing it in a slightly different way. And you know what, this works so well for me. So this is one, hi Karen, this is one of the things that I absolutely loved reading. And it really made sense to me as somebody who speaks different languages, who's learned languages. This really spoke to me. We can learn to think more positively, but like learning a language, just because you know how to speak Spanish doesn't mean that you've stopped being able to speak English. So what that basically means is just because you've learned to think positively doesn't mean that the negative thoughts are going to go away. What you're going to be doing is learning how to live with those more painful and unhelpful stories that our minds tell us. So common sense strategies, things like challenge, these come under common sense, and I love common sense. I'm like somebody who really sees herself as somebody who lives with a lot of common sense and uses common sense. Common sense strategies are things like challenging those thoughts. I'm going to read that in a second, Sarah. Challenging those thoughts, trying to disprove those thoughts, distract ourselves, drown them out with positive thoughts. And as I said, it can be utterly exhausting. So here's an alternative for you. Learn to detach from those thoughts and let them come and go. So think of it like this. Imagine if there was a boy racer driving up the road in front of your house, music blaring, big loud exhaust, you know, really loud. Now you could make a choice. You could go out there, you could shake your fist, you could rage, you could get really wound up, or you could take a step back and go, do you know what, I hear that, it's annoying, but if I just wait, it's going to pass. And that's what you need to do with your thoughts, is just treat them like a boy racer being annoying in the car outside the house, apart from Sarah Wood, who lives in the middle of nowhere. Right, yes, it does tend to be in certain aspects of your life. Some people aren't in some aspects and are in others. So, so we're thinking about these thoughts as a boy racer, okay? I don't know why I came up with a boy racer, but hey ho. So first of all, we're going to notice our thoughts. First of all, we're going to consciously make ourselves aware of the thoughts. So something for me, if I'm really honest, is where I overthink is where I think somebody doesn't like me, or I've done something to offend somebody. And I start telling a story in my head. So the first thing you're going to do is actually kind of stop yourself and say, this is going on. Notice that thought. So that's the first step. And the second thing is notice how we're responding. How attached are we to that thought? How much is it that we're getting physical responses, emotional responses? You know, when your heart starts beating, you might start getting a little breathless because you're starting to think about it. So we're going to pause the video or pause Netflix on that, because not everybody grew up with VHS. So we're going to pause it. We're going to pause that on what are we thinking, and how is that thought making us feel. So we're gonna, once we've done that, the thing with our mind is, though, with Netflix, we press pause, like that. Our mind doesn't work that way. Our mind is busy all the time. If you are somebody who can quiet your mind completely, fair play to you. I am so jealous, because my mind is going 100 miles an hour all of the time. So you are essentially going to have to sort of like really try and see what that thought is doing to you and work on pausing it. And then we're going to name that thought. So is it a worry thought? Hi, Kate. Is it a worry thought? Is it a resentment thought? Is it that somebody's done something to you and you're overthinking it and you feel resentful? Is it a daydreaming thought? Because remember, not all thoughts are negative. Not all thoughts are bad. Is it a daydreaming thought? Is it something that's happened and you feel humiliated? Hi, Dot. Do you feel, is it that if you've done something that's sort of like leaving you that, like you can feel the heat in your face because you think, oh, I can't believe I said that or did that. Are you stewing on something? Are you so let's name that thought. Is it remembering? Is it something that's happened and you're remembering, you keep replaying it, thinking that you could have done something different? So you're going to name that thought. You're going to try and add humour to it. So like, come on, mind, are we going over this again? I thought we'd finished with this, You're going to sort of think about this thought in if I allow this thought to push me around and change my actions and dictate what I do, will that help me? Will that help me be the person that I want to be? Will it help me do the things I want to do, or will it stop me? So this is what you're thinking. You're taking this thought, you're taking how you're responding to it, you're naming that thought, and then you're questioning that thought. So then we're going to really pay attention to this thought, okay? We are going to think about this thought and see what it is, which is, all it is a thought. It's not actually happening in your life. It's a thought. Don't get me wrong. I know, some of these, we're talking about overthinking though. We're not talking about something that's happened and you have let it go. You are overthinking that thought. So you've got to accept it for what it is, which is a series of words and pictures in your brain. That's what a thought is. It's a series of words and pictures in your brain. You can even name the story. So for me, it's the everyone hates Naomi story, the you never succeed story. All of those things. Name your story. You're taking power out of it by doing this. So usually noticing, naming, identifying what it's doing to you is going to be enough to neutralize that thought process, slow it down, stop it, move on from it, because our mind is really busy. So it could be that you're stuck in this overthinking. You managed to stop it. It doesn't mean your mind is going to go empty, but it might move it. What you're wanting it to do is to move away from that overthinking thought process. So if it isn't enough though, if you've done all of those steps and it's not enough, you're still like stuck in this place of overthinking, you're still like just can't get out of it, there are more steps that you can take. There's some really silly, these are going to sound really silly, but these really work. One thing is singing the thoughts like to a tune that you know. So like take the happy birthday song and you can put your thoughts to that. Everyone hates Naomi today. I'm not going to sing it to you, but put your thoughts into a song and see if that starts to neutralize, because that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to neutralize the thought. Did you like that? I thought you were laughing. You feel bad for me now, don't you? But this is my biggest one. This is my biggest one. Something will happen. Somebody will post something and not tag me in it. And I'm just like, I'm off, and I have to learn to neutralize that. Another thing to do, imagine that thought as a bubble in a cartoon. So like imagine yourself as a cartoon and that thought is in a thought bubble, written thought bubble. We can't stop our thoughts. So if you are constantly trying to battle stopping your thoughts, you're just going to get exhausted. They're going to get bigger. What you need to do is think about how you respond to your thoughts. That's where the key is. It's about responding to your thoughts. Bad stuff happens in our lives and you are going to deal with the bad stuff. If nobody is going to get through life without bad stuff happening. Nobody is going to get through their life without negative thoughts. If you have somebody that says to you, every waking moment I think positively, never a negative thought hits my brain, I don't believe that's true. I'm a really positive person, but that doesn't mean I don't have negative thoughts. Of course I do. I would be lying through my teeth if I didn't. I've made it clear I do. But we also have lots of helpful stories as well that are going on in our head. I daydream a lot and I get a lot of ideas because of the way my mind is so busy. I've had an idea like overnight for our website, and I spoke to Nick about it this morning. So I get loads of positive, good stories that come up in my brain as well. it's the unhelpful ones that we want to blow away on the breeze. And that's another thing that you can do when you're trying to neutralize overthinking, is actually imagine it like a leaf in the wind and blowing away. So you're acknowledging it's there, but you're letting it go. There are more techniques to be able to help you change how you relate to persistent thoughts, because remember, it's not the thought, it's how you react, how you relate to it. Things like actually physically drawing yourself as a stick figure or a cartoon character, and actually physically draw that thought bubble. Doing the singing, that really can work. I've never done this one, but I read about this one and I really liked it. So if you type your thought up on a computer, put it in bold, black letters, okay, and then start to change the text. Make the text smaller, take it out of bold, make it into a different colour, make it into pale pink so it's hardly there. Apparently that, as a way our mind works, can really help with that. So first of all, you've got the act of typing it out. That may be enough to take its energy out of it. If it's not, try doing that. As I said, I haven't tried that one. See your thought in different settings. I really liked this idea. So see your thought as if so the story you're telling yourself as a book, on a menu, in an advert. Imagine it as a billboard. Everyone hates Naomi, as a billboard. Imagine it like that. You're not reinforcing the thought. You're trying to neutralize the thought. You're trying to take the power away from the thought. Imagine it on a t-shirt slogan. Can you imagine that if you went onto my website and had "Everyone hates Naomi" as a t-shirt slogan? No, that's not, I'm not going to put that on there. But those are different ways, using silly voices to say it, saying it slow, saying it fast, all different things like that. They all can take the power out of the overthinking. Stop you keep going with that overthinking. I hope that some of this has been helpful to you. I really wanted to come up with actual strategies to really help, because as somebody who does really overthink certain situations, there's some stuff I don't overthink at all, and there's other stuff I really do. And I've been taught a couple of different techniques about this. I'd buy "Everyone Loves Naomi" t-shirt, okay. But other people can look on and see you. If you say your thought out loud and you said it to someone, they might say, "But that's ridiculous." But don't belittle yourself. So when you're using techniques, when you're adding humour to what you're doing, make sure you're not making yourself feel bad about yourself. You can add humour to it, but don't make it derogatory about yourself. Don't make it that you're saying mean things about yourself. So don't, if it makes you feel bad about yourself, the technique you're using, don't use that technique. That's really important, because none of us need to be using negative thought processes in order to stop what we're thinking. So don't use things like, "Oh, for God's sake, this is really ridiculous," because it's not. Don't call yourself ridiculous. It's just the way your mind is working and how you are reacting to it. Congratulate yourself every step of the way that you are trying to change your reaction to your thought processes, that you're trying to manage living with your thought processes. Congratulate yourself that you're taking action. And it's not going to happen first time. It isn't going to happen first time. But every time you try a technique, every time you take a step to help yourself, congratulate yourself on what you've done and know that you're getting a step closer. And your overthinking might change. Mine has changed over time. Mine has changed a lot over time. And the things that I worry about, there's certain ones that are a standard for me, not people not liking me, not being successful, not making, things like that from childhood stuff. They're there with me, but I'm learning a different way to react. But other things that have happened in the past, things like around Joe, and overthinking the Joe situation, I've learned techniques to deal with that too, and I don't tend to do that anymore. What I tend to do with that situation, just quickly before I go, when it is a realistic isn't the right word, if it's something that is like a physical problem that you're dealing with, that you've got a something that you're having to manage and live with, a situation where you can't change it. So like Joe has Perthes disease, I can't change that. What has helped me is actually getting to worst case, thinking of worst case scenario. Okay, what is my worst case scenario? How do I deal with worst case scenario? Okay, everything else is going to be better than that. And if I do get to worst case scenario, I've got a plan to deal with that. So I've ticked that off. I've made a plan. I've dealt with it, and it can go. And if it comes back, I can remind myself I've got a thought process in place for worst case scenario on that. And I find that has really helped as well. The actual thinking through to worst case and actually facing it, so that you're diffusing the fear. That's slightly different from overthinking, but for me, and this is where for me, thinking through worst case scenario has actually really, it's like it's taken the fear out of it. Does that make sense? I've diffused the bomb. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's how I've dealt with certain things around with Joe, with money and things like that. You know, I've managed to diffuse the situation by doing that. Yeah, it does make sense. Good. Right. I hope I've given you some tangible, helpful tips. The light is changing in here. I'm getting that glow because the sun is coming out. Hurrah! I hope I've given you some tangible things that will help you. If you've got any questions, as always, give me a shout. Thank you so much for watching. And just for when I add this onto YouTube, please subscribe. Because I'm starting a YouTube channel. So please subscribe for anyone watching on YouTube. Have an amazing day. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week.